Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Thursday, June 12th. And weakness in the overnight is what we're looking at. We have PPI numbers coming out this morning. Overall, yesterday was a bit of weakness in the afternoon. It started kind of cratering at like 1:30, 2 o'clock hour yesterday, and then a little bit of a pop at the very end, but not much to change the direction. Overnight has been to the downside as well. So we are right down here at support um, at this point. So definitely cut off the buying on the upside here. And now we're backing off a little bit. News this morning, we have, as I said, we had jobless claims and PPI coming out at 8:30. And we get a nat gas report at 10:30. And a 30-year bond auction at 1. So that's what we got going today. But and the PPI numbers coming out, I think that's the bigger one of these numbers. And okay, jobless claims important. If that starts creeping up, that's going to be something to watch. But we'll see how that comes out. So overall weakness in the overnight. We're heading down. We are back here at the lower support area. From having a pretty good run here, right up here to that upper resistance area at the 60-65. We talked about that 65 attractor for a while, and they finally got to it yesterday, and then promptly got knocked down again. So that's what I was saying. That's the market for you. They grinding upside, and then boom, right back down again. So at this point, we'll see if they can hold support at the 59.85s. That's going to be the key area to watch. That's the one with this support area, the one we talked about yesterday. Below the 85s, you're going to have to worry about the run down all the way to the 59.15s here. So we will see how weak this is going to get. There's a lot of things going on out there, but I mean, yesterday we had some good China news. We had some good inflation data yesterday, and nothing really, I think, which is on the financial side, which is pointing to a reason for the weakness. Only thing I can think of is the Iranian situation deteriorating, and maybe the U.S.-Ukraine situation not going anywhere. So those are the things I can think of, which could potentially cause some weakness, but could also be as the pure technical pullback of the highs here, the run up to resistance spot, and then some profit taking is occurring. So we'll see. A lot of reasons for it, but can't pinpoint exactly the reason if there even is one. But anyway, so we'll start off looking for weakness, see if they can retest these lows. So starting off on the short side, just to get started to see if they can retest that 59.85. If it comes out, I would be staying on the short side and see how far they can run it. So we have an attractor here at the 59.80, 85, and this whole area, if that comes out, look for a potential move all the way down here to the 59.15s. And so staying on the short side if that starts happening. If support holds at 85, 80, 85 here, and we start trading back up again, yeah, we'll probably be back range bound pretty quick. So those are the two options I see in front of us. So looking for early weakness, looking to sell strength at 6,005s and 6,015s for rotations back down. They trade up above that London high. I'm going to be as back range bound again. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So fairly aggressive on taking off that short bias. It's just a slight short bias to see if we're going to get some continuation from the weakness in the overnight. And looking for buying opportunities against the 85s for rotations back up. If that holds, we may have a nice rotation back here to the 6,020s, somewhere around that area. Buying against the 59.95, we're trading right there, like a bit below it, so not quite an opportunity right now, but this last one is that 59.85. So that's how we get started this morning. See if they can take it lower or if the support's going to hold here. Looking at the bonds and the Nasdaq, and this is interesting. Bond market popping pretty hard. All right, so that's a usually a little sign, a sign of something. Now, this day, today is also the last trading day on the June expiration for the ES and Nasdaq on the indices, as you know. Rolling it tomorrow's trading to the U expiration. So today's the last day. And look at the bond market. We are trading right off that edge, right back up here to this at least to the midpoint. It looks to me like we may see a shot at they found 1508 here almost. So a nice move to the upside on the bonds. Yields coming down a bit. That's interesting. So I would stay on the long side on the bonds. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but it's definitely or if it's a flight to safety kind of a move, people selling stocks, buying bonds. It would be not be a great sign, but we will see how strong it gets. But definitely to the upside, so I would stay on the long side on the bonds. They're going to buy weakness, 1328s, 1324s, down to the 1316s for rotations back up. The trade below that 1316, I would take off the long bias. Still looking to buy against the 1308s, but below 1308s, so we have a flat back range bound at that point. So that's 1308, it takes us right back down into this attractor area if they get that far down. So they took out that 13, 15, 16 attractor area. Low volume area is right here at that 1302. A low volume area right there. So, but looking to buy weakness early on below that 13, 15, 16. I'm taking off the long bias. Still looking to buy against the 08s, maybe down to the 03s here, but not super aggressively. So we'll see. If this is now flight to safety, bonds trading higher, stocks lower, and rotation out of stocks into bonds, that would be a sign that there may be some weakness coming ahead of us or some concerns out there. And what the concern is, I mean, you're gonna have to. I mean, I think the rainy situation is probably on top of the list there. I don't think the financial data necessarily is signaling anything really bad. I saw the Jamie Dimon out there talking about potentially deterioration coming in the U.S. economy. So they're full of worries, right? A lot of predictions out there. We'll see what actually happens. And on Nasdaq, also weakness on the Nasdaq in the overnight. But right back to that support area, they were right up here, pretty good, 22,000s and pushing, and then knocked it all the way down here, down to the lower support area. So Nasdaq pretty good on the downside there. So if support comes out here at this the 21,700, 730s, look for a potential run all the way down to support at 550s, and that would be a pretty good move to the downside. So. I'm gonna look for early look to sell early weakness, same as the ES. Looking for short setups against the 21 810s and the 850s for rotations back down. And we're going to buy against that 750 and the 720s for rotations back up again. The last one maybe 680, but if they start taking out this support area, I'm just going to stay on the short side and see if they can run it all the way down to the 540s here. So I would say below 720s. If they start taking that out, stay on the short side and see how far they can run it. And then the edge you're going to run into is that 550 edge. It's going to be this big area right there. So I would not be surprised if we get a test of that if they take out this support area at the 720s. So that is the Nasdaq. Looking for early weakness. If they take out the 850s, 860s, and I'm back on the range bound side of this again. So we'll see. They're down here testing the lower support area. If they comes out, look for a rundown all the way down here to the 560s. If not, look for rotation back up again. So there you go. That's the Nasdaq. And then finally, oil and gold zooming through this morning. But oil and gold popping a little bit. That's also another one of the little red flags, right? So bonds up, so stock selling off, gold to the upside. Okay, something may be going on. Gold trading high like this, it makes me think more of the Iranian situation. They're going to have some talks this weekend, but at one point I think they're going to say, well, this is not going anywhere. It's going to just move to plan B and let the chips fall where they may, right? That's going to probably disrupt things pretty well, pretty good if that starts happening. But at this point, that's going to be that's the only thing I can think about, which is causing this kind of concern out there. But starting off, looking for short setups against that 3405s. So if it's starting off on the long side, looking for early strength to retest this high at the 34. 5 to 8. If that comes out, I think we are heading higher. We are right back up in this upper area. The next area resistance is going to be 3440s, and so we got a pretty good move to the upside going there. But Starting off on the long side, looking to buy weakness at this point against the 33.96s. If that comes out and they start backing off, I'm going to just go back to range bound and look for them to trade in this upper range. It starts trading below the 33.75. That would be the support area down here. Then again, then I'm going to start thinking in rotation all the way down to the 45s here. So I'm going to buy against that early strength down to the 30. Sorry, looking to buy against early weakness for rotations back up. So 33.95s. Looking to get short against that 34, 8 to 10 if it gets there. Looking for a short setup. If it doesn't happen, they may break out and start taking this higher. At that point, just stay on the long side of this. And if you start backing off, still looking to buy against the 82s and the 75s, but more from a range bound perspective. And then below that 75, we're heading lower at that point. So that's gold. Let's see if they can take out the high. So everything looks like it's some heartburn out there, going on. Gold up, bonds up, stocks selling off a bit. So. And then finally, oils popping pretty good in yesterday's trading. They're backing off right now, and I think that's also related to the Iranian situation. Oil prices going on as they're going. If that supply comes off the market, it could spike oil prices in the short term, and that's kind of what it's doing right now. It is more, it feels more preemptive, but than anything else. So they're right up here, all the way up to the 69.25s. Now they backed off in overnight all the way down to 66. It's starting to get pretty volatile. So. Maybe some trading opportunities here. I'm going to stay on the long side on oil. I'm going to buy weakness all the way down to the 66.40s. But going to do that with a little bit of caution. And it's volatile like this. You had to kind of be a little bit cautious about it. But as you can see, we are heading up to that 69.40 area. We have popped up there on the at the open, and then we backed off pretty hard. So we'll see if they're gonna be able to hold support here at that 66, 60, 42. It's like 40, 66, 40, and 66, 70. That's that volume edge. If that comes out, we may see a rotation right back down again. So we will find out. So definitely stuff going on in the geopolitical scene, I think. Oil behaving like it is, or bonds and gold also behaving like it is. There's some red flag coming up. But if they start trading below that 66.40s, I'm going to stay on the short side at this point. So these are the last two I'm looking to buy against, but for rotations back up again. And if it starts trading above the if we start trading up above that 67.80s, I'll stay on the long side at that point. We are heading higher at that point. So almost back range bound, still looking to buy it against that 66.75 and the 66.40s for rotations back up. It traded up above that London high, just being back on the long side of this, and then see how far they can take it. So range bound buys to the upside on oil to get started. And gold, same story there, range bound buys to the upside, both on those two. So back to the ES, and at this point, okay, it's kind of where we left it. Let's see what's going to happen here as we get closer to numbers. So we have jobless claims and PPI coming out at 8:30 in about 10 minutes. And so time to go get a cup of coffee and get ready. Alrighty, guys. So good trading, and I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. All right, later.